developer, and that's about all I have to say about that. I enjoyed this. So today we're going to talk about widgets. I apologize in advance, I didn't do slides, but I will do them hopefully later today, and Susanna will post them on the Meetup, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and for anyone who's not here, or anyone who would like, we're being broadcast live on Periscope. So let's get started. Somebody give me a definition of widgets.
A widget itself in the space.
What's a widget?
A widget is a bit of code that you can plug into a specific space, or it could be the space itself where you put the code.
Well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good definition. I like to think of it as the container that holds whatever. It can hold anything. It can hold text. It can hold code. It can hold short codes. It's just the container. I'm not sure how or when the word became popular among programmers and with CMSs, but that's what we call those little portable pieces of whatever that we can put wherever we want. From the standpoint of teaching users about WordPress, it's one of the most non-intuitive things because we have widgets and we have sidebars, but sidebars don't have to be sidebars. They're actually widget areas. I'm sorry? So when you go to, you're all familiar with the widget area in WordPress, right? Everybody's played around with this a lot, right? And the sidebars, if there are any, and how many they are, is determined by the theme. Everything is different. For this example, I chose to make a child theme of 2012, because 2012 is my fallback theme for testing to make sure stuff works. And I just made a child theme there. So it comes with 3 sidebars, and I created a 4th one. I'm going to show you how we did that. Sidebars are a bit of a rabbit hole because there are so many ways that you can put sidebars into templates and themes. First of all, we're going to talk about creating a sidebar, a widget area, if you will. Let's see. Okay. So this is my functions file, and this, by the way, creating widgets and sidebars, is something that should go in your functions file. I know that I preach that everything should go into plugins, but widgets and sidebars are theme specific. Widgets may or may not be, if you want them to be available, depending on what they hold, but sidebars are definitely theme specific. So that should always go in your functions file. This, right here, is how you create the sidebar. That's the code. It's very simple. You can find this code, you can find this example in the codex, or if you want to be just a little bit lazy, go to Generate WP. I do this sometimes, just because it's less typing. You go to generatewp.com, click on Sidebar Generator. All you have to do is fill in this information, the ID, which has to be unique throughout the theme, the name, the class. If you don't want to change these, it will just default to what normally appears in the widget. The description, you click Update Code, and it spits out the code for you, and you just copy and paste. Very cool. But there again, if you don't know what to do with the code, you don't need it, right? Okay, so I added this to my functions.php, and when I went back to my site, this sidebar appeared. And I put a description in there to tell me what it's going to do, what it's about, where it's going to appear. Yes?
You put that code in what's called a style sheet?
No, that goes in your functions.php file. Because it's a PHP function that actually creates the sidebar, registers it. Now the second thing I did, since I have my special sidebar there, is I created my own widget. Well, let me back up a second, just so we don't get confused here. This sidebar that I created works just like any other. You can drag and drop anything into it. But you also have to specify where it's going to show up, because it won't naturally show up in the theme unless you give it a place to live. Get that? So there's two parts to it. You have to have the sidebar, and then you have to tell the templates where to put it, where to show it. Let's save that. Let's go down to, let's talk about how we put this sidebar or widget area into a template. There are more ways than this, but I'm going to show you a few ways you can do it. This is my normal sidebar that comes with the theme, and I just put a search box in it so we can tell which sidebar we're using. This is my special sidebar. It's showing up right there. The way I did that was I took my page.php and copied it and renamed it to page dash and then the name of the page, the slug of the page. Page with auto template. And instead of the regular sidebar, I told it to show my special sidebar. Everybody following that? Okay. The other way I can do that is I can do it as a conditional in my page.php. Without creating a special page, I can say, down here in the sidebar, I can say, if it's this page, and that's, again, the slug of the page, use my special sidebar. Otherwise, use the regular sidebar. Okay, everybody following? Yes.
So does that automatically create the menu for mobile devices, or do you have to do something special for that?
It doesn't do anything with menus. It doesn't do anything with responsive. This is just content. It's going to follow whatever rules your theme is using. This doesn't affect styling at all. This is only content.
So on your looking at this site on my phone, it has a menu, and then it unfolds to have all the different links. So how did you implement that?
That's part of the theme.
Oh.
That's just part of the theme. That doesn't have anything to do with the widgets. That's just part of the 2012 theme that automatically creates that for you. Let's see. What's another way we can do that? We can do it in our sidebar file if we want to do that, but I didn't really do an example of that. So this is the page with auto template. I created the page with auto template.php and specified this sidebar. This one is drawing off of the page.php where I have the conditional. And it tells it that if it's on this page, it uses this sidebar. If it's on the other page, it uses the other. Okay? I don't want to go too fast because this really is a rabbit hole. There are at least 10 ways you can do this. Yes?
I understand the PHP part of it, but where do you start that in WordPress? How did you slug in WordPress? When you make a page as simple as on the right, and then when you wrote conditional on a regular page template, okay?
How do
Where
I
does
find
that
a
show
slug?
up? How do you make that choice in WordPress?
That's the slug of the page. The title of the page is using page
Okay, got it.
PHP. And this is the slug, and you just get that from your edit page. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just the slug. You can also use the ID if that's easier. For me, it's more intuitive to use slugs because I know what that is, looking at it. Don't have to go back to the reference. So, what if you want to put it somewhere other than in this preordained space for sidebars? Then we create a widget area. And you do that by going into your page template and dropping in a sidebar there. Wherever you want it. I put this one at the after the content.
Where's the after content part?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You said you put it after content. Where is
Well,
it?
content is up here. It's the,
Oh,
it's
get
to
to
get
a
to.
little more.
Yeah, I didn't want to go down too far down that rabbit hole and get into the.
I just didn't see where it.
Yeah, yes. Well, there's normal content for a page. And this is where I put the widget. I just put it after it. So, we go over here. There it is. Now it's down in the main body after the content template, after the content of the page. You can do that anywhere. You can do it in a header, you can do it in a footer, you can do it in any template file. If you just add this code, first of all, it's good practice to check if it's active. By active, it means that it has something in it. It's not just an empty sidebar. So if it's active, do dynamic sidebar and just show it. Now you'll also notice that there's something else down here. This is a different way that you can put widgets into your tablet, into your templates without actually putting them into a sidebar. You can take individual widgets and throw them into your content or into your templates, into your footer, your header, whatever. Go back up a little bit and I'll show you that. I created this thing I call Silly Widget. And all it does is it outputs a string of text. And we went through this last year or a few months ago in our How to Build a Widget. This is mostly copy and pasted from the codex. This part up here is required, and we give it a slug, we give it a name, a description, and then in this section we say what it does. And we can add options there, we can add whatever we want there, but for this purpose it's very simple. All it does is output some text. And when I go over here, you can see,
There it is.
there's my silly widget. Let's pull that out to one. Let's pull that up to the main side. It has no options, so we just save it. And it shows up on our pages. Just outputs a quote. lots of things you can do with this, as you can imagine. Pretty much anything you can do with PHP, you can do with this.
So silly widget is not so silly.
Wow. No, but it was a good name. And this is what creates that widget. So it's available to me in my widgets area, and I can put it wherever I want. Now, going back to the page, instead of adding the silly widget to a sidebar and then putting the sidebar on the page, I just added the widget. It's a function called the _widget, which I didn't even know existed until not too long ago. All you do is just say the widget and give it its name, and it outputs it. You can do that with a list of categories, a list of pages, any of the default widgets over here. You can do this into your templates. Anything that's a widget, you can just put into a template all by itself without having to go through all the complications of adding a widget area. So there's my welcome widget and my silly widget.
Where's your first front page area, second front page area?
Where are they? I'm not sure. I don't usually work with 2012. I don't know where those show up in the templates. If they're in the optional front page template. So if I went over here, home and use that template. Full page number. Okay. Theoretically, they should show up.
So it's that search area, because that was the one thing that was in there.
Yeah. And, that's completely dependent upon the theme. And good themes will give you a clue as to where things go in the template, and some of them don't. Let's put
Put a text widget that says second page, whatever.
So they've used these essentially as two footer templates in this case. What other questions do you have? What's not clear or hasn't sunk in? Does everybody get how to do this?
I kind of missed the first part.
What?
You said that previously you had.
Oh, well, yeah, we talked about, back at the beginning of the year, I talked about how to build a widget.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little more complicated, and I can go through that if you want me to. But
I think, well, you know, I kind of did one by accident.
How do you do this by accident?
Well, I had this working on this theme, one of those heavy themes that had everything built in, and I wanted to put something in the like a widget in the header, because the client wanted to put something up there, and I had a lot of room up there. So I just Googled it and they had some instructions on, somebody asked a similar question, and then I started, and I did go into, what was it, the page, the functions file. Yeah, I had to do a little thing in the functions, and then it was just sitting there. It just said, now here's, you create your own widget, and I kind of did it. But I don't know what I really did.
That's how most of us do it.
I was
something that
copy
we've
pasting,
done-
so I really don't know what I was doing.
Well, that's where you start, is you copy and paste what someone else has done, or what you've done before.
Right, and then you see how to make it different,
And then
like,
you-
change a word
that's
up,
right.
and
That's pretty much how most of us learn to program this stuff. We look at what other people have done before. So, do you want to go through building a widget? Show of hands. Anybody want to go through building a widget? Okay.
Good afternoon, Dots. Love that.
Yeah. Makes me feel good when I read it, right? Okay. So I'm going to refer back to this, where I actually do have slides.
And code that people can paste too.
And code that people can cut and paste. Okay, so, and there is the code for my silly widget that I just showed you. Let's look at the parts of it. I mean, when you start out building widgets, you copy and paste this stuff, because even if you know how to write it, it's silly to waste the time to figure out to write it and get all the syntax correct and all that. So, right here, you name your widget. That's the name of your widget right there. And this is required because the class WP widget in WordPress is part of WordPress core, and it actually handles all the back-end stuff of handling widgets. So you don't create your own class, you extend the WP widget class. You give it a slug, and a name, and a description. And now the widget is created. And this part, the front-end display, is what the widget actually does. In this area, I've just got it echoing something, but that's where you would put code. If you wanted to print out some information from the database, or you want to run a list of pages, whatever it is you want to do with it, this is where that goes. It goes right in there. We add these two things around it, before widget and after widget, because some themes use that for styling. And so we want to make sure that we get it styled like all the other widgets in the sidebar. This is where you would put the form if it had options, like people could specify the text. That's where this would go. This is the admin portion. And in this case, it just says this widget has no options. And then very simply, we just register it. So this template can be used for anything. To create, we created this as a plugin because that's the best practice. It's not going to disappear. Even if sidebars are specific to themes, widgets don't have to be. Widgets quite often aren't, because no matter, if you've got content in a widget, you want that available even if you change your theme. So we put it in a plugin, created the plugin, and that text is standard, comes right from the codex. Create your widget, throw it in, activate the plugin, and now you've got a widget.
So you're saying that if you wanted to have your widget area not be theme specific, put it in a plugin, is that what you're saying?
Not the widget area, because widget areas are theme
Are
specific.
specific, but the functionality that
But
you
the
want.
widget itself
Okay.
would probably want to survive the theme. Because a widget is actually more content than it is theme oriented. The widget, where it's placed, where it shows up on the theme, on the front end, is theme specific. See, it gets complicated.
Because the hooks would be different for the thing we're going to use.
Well, yeah, where we put it in the templates is always going to be different. And where, sidebars can be right, they can be left, they can be footer, they can be header, they can be anywhere. So moving it around is the job of the theme, but creating it is the job of the core of the site, if you will. I'm not sure that's the way to say that, but it belongs to the site and the site content rather than the theme. So if we took that simple widget that we just did, and now we're going to add something to it. We're going to add this, because we now have an option that says all this is very complicated programming, and it's basically just copy pasta. So, but essentially it's one field that we allow people to enter text, and it's called title. And so we've changed this and added the title, added some way that people can customize this widget. Other than that, it's basically the same. This is one that I built for a client that lets them put a testimonial in their sidebars. Yes. It lets them put the testimonial and the name of the person, and then it spits it out as a widget. Spits it out in the sidebar as a widget.
Could you not do that with just a text widget?
You could, but you don't have two fields in a text widget. The reason I did this is for the styling, so that I could have the testimonial, like be styled one way and the name of the person be styled a different way, without having to rely on the client to figure out how to do that in a text widget.
Which would entail, are we talking just the spacing between the quote and the author of it?
Well,
the font, the bolded?
I think in this case, the testimonial was italicized, and the name of the person had a little tilde in front of it, and then it was over to the right. So it was something that it was actually required some HTML to style it the way she wanted it, and she didn't want to do that. She's not an HTML person, so I created this for her to do it. It's the same reason you would create custom post types. If you want to take the options for styling, it's one of the reasons for creating custom post types, because you take the options for styling out of the hands of clients, people who don't know HTML, people who don't want to deal with styling, and you put it into the program itself. Does that make sense? Okay. That's why I create custom post types for FAQs, because every site has them, but trying to get a client to line everything up and make sure that all the questions are the same size and the same color, and the answers are indented the same. Clients aren't going to do that, and the page will end up looking not neat. So I give them a custom post type, and then I do the styling in the back end for them. all I have about widgets. Give me some questions or some examples of things you want to see.
And what's the difference between the page with a template and the page with an auto template? I know that's somewhat off topic.
No. I'm trying to remember how I didn't name that very well, did I? Oh, I know how I did it. Page using template. I actually created a template. You can create templates in two different ways. You name them page dash and then the slug of the page you want it to appear, or if you want to use it for maybe more than one, you actually create a template that will show up in your over here. It'll show up in your list of templates. So that's what I did. I created a template called Special Sidebar. I'll show you that. And it's essentially, it's the same thing. I copied page.php and by adding this to it, I created it into a template that can be used now to assign to certain pages. Does that make sense?
The auto template?
The auto template is this one. It's the same page, but the name of it is page with auto template. WordPress automatically looks, well, let's do that. Let's go look. If you don't have, I don't have this on a shortcut on my laptop, but I do at home. This should always be a shortcut. Because one of the most useful parts of the codex is this little chart right here. You familiar with it? It tells you what WordPress is looking for. Singular pages. Okay, let's see. A singular page. For a static page, it looks for this is what I'm talking about here. Page dash and then the slug of the page. It doesn't find that, you can also do it with page IDs. It'll look for that next. If it doesn't find that, it uses page.php. If for some reason that's not there, it uses singular. If that's not there, it uses index. Index is the default page for everything in WordPress. But you can stop it and customize templates by using any of these more specialized templates. Does that make sense? This is how WordPress looks to see which template to use when it outputs a page. It starts over here.
So simply by creating the page-slug.php
It automatically
file,
uses
it
it.
automatically knows to look for that, and
Right.
you can tell it to use that.
You don't even have to tell it to use that. If it's there, it will use it. There are two things I did. Let me show you. It won't show up over here if I do page-slug. In order to have it show up over here, I have to create a template, which is the same. In this case, it's the same page, but it has this header on it, which tells WordPress it's a template. So it looks at that and it says, okay, this is a template. And then for any page on my site, I can use this special sidebar template.
The name of that file is irrelevant.
The name is irrelevant. It
VAC.php.
could be anything. I name it template dash just so I know what it is.
That's certainly good to it.
Yeah, but the name is totally irrelevant there, except you can't conflict with any of the names that WordPress is looking for. You don't want to do a page dash or, something like that. It's two ways. one of the great things and one of the most confusing things about WordPress is there are so many ways to do the same thing. So that's why it's a bit of a rabbit hole. And which way is the best way to do it depends on you, your styling, your style of coding, how you want it organized, what's easiest for you. One more handy little thing for one more handy little tip. Without going through all the process of creating the class and creating the widget, you can actually create a one-time use widget very simply, just like this. That creates a widget. The only difference between this and a normal widget is you can only use it one place and one sidebar. So, for example, this is the widget that I created that just says, welcome to my site. And chances are you're only able to put that one place. So instead of going through the process of creating a plugin and a class and all that, which is complicated, I just put this function in my functions PHP file, and it creates this that's how I created this widget. It gets my username from the login and says, welcome. It shows up over here. You'll notice that it shows up in the widget area. Well, it doesn't show up over here now because I've already used it. It's gone. I can drag it back over there. That's its limitation. It's easy if you have something you just want to do one time. Just more options. What else? I think just hit the clock now. I'm looking up there going, it can't be 1:30 already. Okay, nothing else? No questions about anything?
Let's all go back and watch the video again.
Well, I'll put the first part in the slides and put those up. Hopefully this afternoon.
And we'll have the replay, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And then we'll link that to people out next year.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'll put the
Oh,
link
yeah.
to.